Christopher Bruce, who's in Atlanta. He's a political strategist and a civil rights advocate. Christopher, these orders and moves that Trump has taken on day one, they're all things that he's talked about at length, I would say, in his campaign and even before. When politicians do what they say they're going to do, that's good for democracy, isn't it?
Typically, it is good for democracy, and thank you for having me. President Donald Trump is a little bit different, though. We can go back to his first administration in 2016 when he said he was going to build a wall to keep out my immigrants. Well, you're complaining about an immigration problem when you said that you were going to complete a wall to keep immigrants out, and that didn't happen. And now you're claiming that you're going to fix this problem again. So the issues about doing executive orders to protect the democracy when they are anti-democratic executive orders. These are the problems that are going to happen with the Trump administration. Now, I will say this up front. President Trump is going into a different way of doing things than his first administration. He's clearly learned from what happened last time, and I believe he will be more effective this time. But the Democratic world needs to be on notice that the person who is in charge right now has an America First policy, believes that there is going to be a golden age of America. We don't know what that is exactly, but it doesn't look good for the rest of the world, as a lot of his executive orders have already shown to cut off foreign development aid to other countries, as well as bringing back the United States from the World Health Organization.
Yeah, you've mentioned a couple of things there. What are you most worried about what Trump is doing right now and what he might do in future in terms of where that might leave America, but as you say, also the rest of the world?
Well, for the United States, we will easily come into play when it comes to things as medicine. He signed an executive order repealing lowering prescription medicine. The United States does not have universal health care, and a lot of people do lack health care in certain ways. So the gains that the Biden administration had for health care are now being rolled back. They are already proposing rolling back the Affordable Care Act. That's another thing that he said that they were going to repeal 70 times before. Being more specific, education. The Department of Education, he's claimed to abolish. That hasn't been signed into the law yet or for his executive order yet, but we know that it's coming. There are a lot of ramifications that are going to happen domestically. Foreignly, we all know about tariffs. He's been talking about tariffs for months. We fully expect that to be implemented, and his aggressions towards other places like Panama, Greenland, and other countries. Americans are tired of war and do not want anyone even talking about war in any sense. So he's dealing with a fine line. He did not win in a landslide. Even people within his own party are questioning him. However, the rhetoric that he's putting out there that he is powerful is going to keep playing out until, again, you look at his first administration, certain things just do not get done.
I mean, he's certainly in a good position in terms of controlling both chambers. Does it worry you when we get to day one and him having trumpeted getting this agreement for Gaza over the line before he even came into office? Does it worry you when he says things like, well, I don't know now if all of the phases are going to get implemented? Does it worry you in terms of what that means for Gaza specifically, but also in terms of how he might approach other foreign policy issues?
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest concerns, not only for myself, but many other Americans. When it came down to it, this plan was implemented, talked about, and developed by the Biden administration in May. This is something that the Biden administration had crafted, and eventually it evolved into what has been known as the ceasefire right now. So President Biden should get the credit for what happened before. Implementation will happen under the Trump administration. We all know that President Biden and President Trump have different ways of viewing Israel and the fight in Palestine and Gaza. We do believe that President Trump will be a little bit more hands-on in developing weaponry and allowing for Israel to deal with the death toll to go up even higher in these areas. That's something that we do concern about when it comes to Israel, as well as cutting off federal aid to protect Ukraine against Russia's aggression. Those are the type of things that are going to develop in these theaters within the world that's going to shape the rest of the world and the developing world as well.
All right, Christopher Bruce, we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out, but thank you so much for joining us on TRT World.